ka musicolu kidimandi nyulla nata ka artisolu kidimandi nyulla nata ka jado ganyandi nyulla nata o ka jololu fanam fintindi Facebook oto YouTube Facebook oto koyko YouTube Gambia talent muna promotion lem Gambia talent muna promotion ngonda jaworode maribunga wate muna nke jubele wate buna nke la moile wate buna nke la kuomila Gambia talent boy ngoye dulle nata hoy kantol kidimandi kantol sewondi kantol nganyandi Gambia talent buna gam talent boy awali pausmandu
aya a wall of brands yéen ñi nga xam ne nag yéen a nama lu baax ci seeni néeg yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen a bëgg lu baax yow mi nga xam ne yaa bëgg a defar sa néeg yow mi nga xam ne yaa bëgg a furnitures yu baax carpet yu baax li nga xam ne nag moom ngay décorer sa néeg si wàllum lampa si wàllum freezer si wàllum li nga xam ne mooy bool si wàllum li nga xam ne mooy flat screen household appliances yépp si biir li nga xam ne nag mooy Empire nekkal fi Gambians si ñëpp képp ko xam ne yaa ngi bitim réew looy namati di jëne sa bagage bitim réew di ko indi ñu ngi fi nga xam ne nag mooy number 10 Kairaba Avenue Serekunda mu ngeen ñoo call si 227 661 227 661 227 661 mete it si 22 69 781 22 69 781 mete it si 32 92752 3292752 mete it mun ngeen ñoo am si suñu email bi si info@empire.gm.com Empire, the wall of brand.
Karasu Properties and Investment Limited ye ken also dale lamen karawa 20 by 20 jiobeje kurangabeje nin sunkaro bunya na la horomo kan iba wafila $200,000 cash ikafumi mfane mortgage ka domoni ninjo katafu kari woro ibo wafila $250,000 Kairosu Properties and Investment Limited ibal content sunkaro Kairosu Properties link us and we make you a home builder.
Justice Charles Suleiman Jallo, Chairman of the Gambia Constitutional Review Commission, and I watch Gambian Talents TV.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching or listening to us from. It's your favorite show coming your way from the Gambian Talents TV, the Gambian Talents Radio. Nyohobai show di len ko indil nak semaine bu nek di Pa Ousmane Diouf la won fa won nak duma fi dalal ben chomo duma fi dalal ken ko xamne ab yaafus la mané ñi nga xamne ñu ngay yobbu suñ dekk ci kanam people that are contributing meaningfully to the development of our country are the people we will bring here. People who have some questions to answer probably for the Gambians are the people we will bring here. People who are doing amazing things for the Gambia. It's the Gambian Talents TV and this is the Nyohobai show. Mang leen ay bëggee di leen dalal den santa fu ci waay nekk ci ñeenti ko ñi aduna penku xaat fu ngopp wala ngalandu mané show bi nag ñu koy def rek saa su nekk barki Dembo Njaay laa leen indil ki nga xam ne mooy Justice Charno Jallow QC, who is the chairperson of the Constitutional Review Commission of the Gambia. Moom mi nga xam ne mu ngi woon fii ci Seattle. Mane, we have had several interviews with different people, from politicians to musicians to people from across the globe. in different walks of life saa su nekk nag ñu tabas ñabas jaxas bagas képp ku ñuy déglu rek ci WhatsApp bi ñu ngi lay béggee bu baax a baax ñi ñuy topp through Instagram suñuy snippet ñu ngi leen lay béggee ma ne ñëpp képp ku ñuy seetaan through Facebook ñu ngi lay delloo sa wàccuwaay rawatina yéen ñi nga xam ne nag yi ñaay suñuy top fans yi I mean click on the top fan button be a top fan of Gambian Talents TV ñu ngi leen ay béggee David Diatta maa ngi lay béggee mu ne good morning Lamine Damfa maa ngi lay béggee yéen ñi ñuy seetaan si YouTube ma ne kenn demut ngeen des affaire bi yéen la Juma Mubarak ñu ngi leen ay béggee bu baax a baax fi mu nekk nii nag xam naa ne ci ñeneenti ko ñi àdduna am na in a lot of places people are sleeping xanaa kay ñun ñu nekk fii ci boori Seattle nag la suñu waxtu nelaw jotagut. I greet you all in the spirit of Gambianism. We go straight into the show. Like I said earlier, last week we brought you an exclusive interview with the chairperson of the Constitutional Review Commission. We talk about a lot of things that affect the Constitutional Review Commission, that his personal life and a lot of things. It's right there on our Facebook and YouTube page where you can follow it, where you can see it. Konte nag ñu ànd ak beneen daanaan koo xam ne suma magi bopp la I mean somebody that we have a lot to talk about today. First opportunity to have him here on the Nyohobai show. Demba Baldeh, greetings.
Thank you very much, Faustman. Thank you for having me.
Are you ready for me?
I am ready for you, sir.
You are on the hot seat. Well, Nyohobai show nga nuyu wante rek ak suñ bokki déglukat yi. You can say hello to our wonderful listeners and viewers.
Obviously, I say thank you very much for having me again to your Nyohobai show. I mean, and to your team as well. Doing an excellent job. You know, we appreciate what you're doing, and for the Gambian people as well. I say hello to everybody. I mean, obviously, I talked to a lot of people as well. Met with a lot of people, friends with a lot of people. So I just want to say, hey, hello to everybody once again.
Demba Baldeh, when I do Nyohobai show, I start with people's background. Who is Demba? If you are to tell us about your family and educational background, can you walk us through that?
Absolutely. I mean, I always mention this. I don't enjoy talking about myself that much. I'm going to poly. You know, they were kind of told not to not to talk about yourself. But Demba Baldeh is a Gambian. You know, bona fide, born and brought up in the Gambia. I was born in a small village, just outskirts of Jara Pakaliba, called Sare Juta or Juta Kunda.
Okay.
So I'm actually a Jaranka. I'm an original Jaranka. That's where I was born and I was brought up in over there. In Jara.
Oh, okay. So you are originally from Jara. Is that where you went to school too?
I'm originally from Jara. I went to Pakaliba Primary School. Up to primary 5. I'm going to Poli. Then they move around. So our people migrated to Nyamina. They went to Nana. So I stayed at Pakaliba Primary School up to primary 5, and then I transferred to Jarem Primary School. Okay. That's just in Nyamina East. So once in a while I'll tell myself I'm from Nana. A lot of people know me there because I grew up there as well, and my family still lives there, and I still have family in Jara as well.
In Jara, okay.
So I enjoy dual citizenship, you know.
That is good to hear. So where did you attend secondary school and high school?
So from Jara.
Yes, sorry about that short connection wherever you are watching and listening to us from. Suley Fats, Mune, good morning, greetings from Germany. Allah bless you. Thank you very much. David Jata Mune Bro, I am watching you live from Lohimbor. I think that's where he is watching from. Thank you very much. Demba Baldeh, are you back?
I am back, Pastor. Yes. Unfortunately, I'm going to be having a call here. So that call is going to interrupt me a lot.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead. So you say, where did you attend high school and your academics? Still, we are on your academics.
Yes, I went to Armitage High School from 1986 to 1991. That's where I did my O levels at Armitage and graduated from in 1991.
I was just talking to the chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission last week, and we talked about he also attended Armitage. So him, of course, being boy combo and going to Armitage, I asked him about the experience. It was a little challenging for him, but he loved it. How was the experience like with you that went to Armitage, of course, as the only boarding school in the Gambia at the time?
Yeah, it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life. The school saved me from a young child, a young boy, to an adult. I have a whole bunch of experience at Armitage. It made me who I am, independent, and also a very strong person as well. In Armitage, it's a boarding school, right? It's the survival of the fittest.
So
So I mean, New Dem Armitage, they know about that. So it's a very strong school, and you have to take care of yourself as a as a student. Your parents are not around, so.
So was it all about book life? I mean, school, go to class, go to your dorm, or did you guys have to do some work like farming and etc., gardening and etc.?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, it's a whole. I'll describe it as structured, very much structured. Your day is structured from 5 a.m. in the morning, where you're waking up from your bed to go to prayers. We call it dawn prayers, right? From 5 a.m. in the morning, from dawn prayers, you are structured. You have 1 hour or 30 minutes to do that. You come and prepare for your class. You go to class, and then you go to lunch, and after lunch, after school, you go back to prayers again. After prayers, if you do sports, you go to sports. If you do, there's evening studies as well that you do. I mean, so everything from top to bottom, from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, is all structured. But we did everything. We did gardening, we did sports, we did everything. Obviously, a lot of learning as well, and a lot of sports activities.
Okay. Life after Armitage, what did you do?
So I graduated in 1991. Interestingly, I went to teach a little bit. I was a teacher at Bundum Primary School for maybe roughly about 6 months. I was a new graduate. I didn't have any experience teaching at all. So I mean, you take a new graduate from high school and you ask them to teach a primary too.
Okay.
So it's very difficult for me. It was more or less like a babysitting than applying the knowledge, because I didn't have any teaching experience at all.
So you didn't go to the college?
I didn't go to the college. So from high school straight, I went to the teaching.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people use that as a starting point. You get into the teaching field before you go to the college.
Okay.
Right. So that's what they did. And then I taught there for about a few months. Then I went to, I work at the Center of Statistics. There was a project called SDA. It was like a census survey project. I worked there for like another 3 months, did my training, and then I went to civil aviation to work at the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. So that's why I worked, up to 1995.
Okay, and what happened in 1995? What happened?
So Gambia Civil Aviation, I started at the head office. I was hired by Jok Cham, Malik Cham. He was the director. He hired me. The head office was too crowded, too many people around. I didn't like it. So I asked to be transferred to the control tower to become an assistant air traffic controller. So that's where I was. Actually, that was the passion that I had. When I went to the tower, I saw that I wanted to do air traffic control. So I went to air traffic control, studied that, and I did that until 1995 when I left for the U.S.
Oh, okay. So you came to the U.S. in 1995.
I came to the U.S. in 1995. Yes, August 1995.
Dangada, were you scared of Yaya Jammeh and his boys?
Interestingly, I was one of the boys that supported Yaya Jammeh when he took over, because man, I was a young political activist. Right, from high school, we used to go to Foroya, we used to go to PDOIS and do a lot of activities. Right, so we were against the PPP government. I was always speaking against the PPP. I was lucky to have my last name as Baldeh. So when the Minister of Communications, Yaya Baldeh, Matthew Yaya Baldeh, the late Matthew Yaya Baldeh, obviously my brother, but extended wise, right? So I mean, that protected me when I was in civil aviations and protesting against PPP and saying this corruption and all that. So I mean, that protected me. But that's how I left to come to the US through an I-20.
Okay, so you came to the US to go to school, right?
I came to the US to go to school, yes.
Which city did you go to? Which city did you go to first? Or did you come
Interestingly, as you know, a lot of people to obtain student visas to come to the US, but a lot of us couldn't afford this, to pay for school. So I went to Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
There was actually a Gambian, I think there's a Gambian working there. It was Mr. Ture, something Ture, that was helping Gambians get, I-20s. So I got my I-20 through him. I came through there. I went to New York. And then I didn't go to school, obviously, after that. I had to part my own way.
Oh, okay. How did you end up in Seattle?
So it's an interesting idea. I mean, interesting question. I stayed in New York for about a year. Now, I had some friends like Baba Dabo. You know, Baba Dabo is my childhood friend.
Oh, okay.
So we grew up together. We were from Pakaliba together. So Baba came to New York. I got kind of hosted him. And then he had some friends in Seattle. Then there were very few Gambians in Seattle. So he came to Seattle and it was nice. So I was in New York for about a year. I didn't like New York. It was too rough for me. It was too crowded for me and I wanted to go to school. At some point, I was thinking about bringing a family as well. So I didn't like the climate in New York. So I wanted to move over here to go to college. And that's what I did. I moved to Seattle in 1996.
So you went to college here. Which college did you go to and what did you study?
Yeah, once I got here, after second year, I went to North Seattle Community College to do my associate degree.
In what? Okay, associate. And then?
Associate degree in business and IT. So I've transferred from North Seattle after 2 years. I went to UW Bethel. That's where I did my bachelor's. So I graduated there in 2003 with a bachelor's degree in business administration.
Business administration, okay.
Yes, and then several years later, I went back to school, to City University in Bellevue to do my MBA, my master's.
Oh,
so that's my career.
Oh, that is so you have an MBA. Okay, you have your master's degree. Okay.
I have my master's in human resources. Yes, human resources.
Okay, that's good to hear. You talk about bringing a family. I mean, hello to our beautiful wife, Aisatu. So at what point did you bring Aisatu? And at what point did you bring Aisatu?
So Aisatu and I were actually together in Gambia, 2 years before I left.
Okay.
So when I came over in 1995, I moved to Seattle in 1996. So 1997, 98, she joined me in Seattle. 98. There were very few Gambians in Seattle at the time. So
very few Gambians. Okay. So how was life like in those early days? Of course, 2019. This is 21 years or 31 years, right? Something like that.
1996, actually, 1996. So
1996, yes.
23 years.
23 years, yes, so thereabout. So how was life in Seattle like 23 years ago?
It was a big struggle, actually. I mean, as I mentioned, there were very few Gambians here. Perhaps I would say less than 50 Gambians. Okay. There were original Seattleites here. I mean, actually, Gambians have been here for a while because there were some people that were at the UW, like Dr. Sen and others who.
Okay. Well, you are watching the Nyohobai show.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Go ahead.
You're using a business phone, so that phone is going to get a lot of calls.
Yes,
so there were very few Gambians here. Right? It was a struggle, obviously. When you come in, we were all kind of staying, around the same area, right? You have to, Gambians, we were very, very dedicated, obviously, coming from Gambia, very ambitious. You want to go to school, you want to go to work. So most of us had 2 jobs at the time also, right? And some people have already started going to school. So that's what motivated a lot of us. So life was a lot better from New York, actually, to Seattle. It was a lot more laid back, right? A little bit safer than New York, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good to hear. David Jata say, Paos, are you live on YouTube? Yes, I just shared the link right there. We are live on YouTube for those of you that are watching us. If you want to actually see Demba, you can log on to our YouTube page and you will have the opportunity to see Demba Baldeh Jakarlo ak mom. Ñu ngi leen ay bégee Essa Saho mu ne bro, why you always say Adama Barrow? He's asking why we always say Adama Barrow and the like. Barrow lu moo def rek la ñoo wax. Malik Leon Jai says greetings from Sweden. Thank you very much, Malik. Képp koo xam ne yaa ngi seetaan rek ci jamono ji fu ci waay nekk rek ñu ngi leen ay bégee Nyohobai show la. Demba Baldeh of Gainako mooy suñ guest ci jamono ji nii. We talked about your life in the US, Demba, bringing a family. How was it like in those early days? Right now, there are tons of African stores here in Seattle. We have Eat here. There are prayer grounds, mosque, and the like. 20 years ago, were there all of these things like Juma, mosque every Friday in the Juli Juma? So what to Juli Jote at the Tobaski or Korite ground? We see how it is. Gambians don't even fit in one hall. We go have 2 or 3 different prayer sessions and the like. Of course, there are several African stores. Binga ñoo dégg naa sa yaay daf la paagaloon budaake da nga indiwaale woon budaake, right?
Amite lañ jógee amit budaake lañ am, right?
Right?
So don't be surprised if I brought some. Seattle actually was very fascinating at the time. As I said, there were very close, few Gambians here. We have a very close net. So, I mean, obviously, we used to go to the masjid. We lived in Northgate. You know, there's the Northgate Masjid, as a lot of us who lived around that area. So we went to the mosque there. You know, I guess that's why Gambians lived in there as well. So, them, you know, very few people you have send Jabari Nekafini, then they tested them Julie Fofunono. Obviously, I said was one of them when she came. A lot of the times, Nini Fofula and John Julie Chiman, you know, of the guys. So, I mean, Fofula and John Julie.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting to know. Now that we have thousands of Gambians here, obviously, it is very interesting seeing that growth taking place. But then, so you were in Seattle and working and taking care of your business. Life did technology grew and Gambians became connected as the world became connected with the World Wide Web, especially with the coming of social media. Gainako newspaper started with, you started with Gainako newspaper before Gainako radio came on. What's the inspiration? Where did the inspiration come from?
That is very interesting. It's actually a very evolving story. I actually started writing well before Gainako. If you remember, there was a newspaper called the Gambia
L.
Gambia, what is it?
Post, Gambia Post and Gambia L.
Yeah, Gambia L was there and Gambia Post there, but there was another All Gambian. There was a newspaper called All Gambian, organized by, owned by Buba Sise. In Wisconsin. Yeah, so I was writing there, you know, and then I was also on Gambia L, you know, writing there as well. Obviously, Gambia L, you know, interestingly was actually, I think it originated from the University of Washington in Seattle. Right. We have Dr. Sen and others who started it. Dr. Sen and Dr. Jaide and others who started it, I think, if I'm correct. Right. So I was there.
Okay. Yes, it's Demba Baldeh telling us his story right there. I was talking about how Gambia L started. Go ahead.
Yeah, in 2005, I actually went to Gambia, right? I went to visit Gambia in 2005. So when I went to Gambia, that was an eye-opener for me. Then the dictatorship has already started and a lot of things were already happening. When I came back, that I developed a lot more interest into writing. But prior to that, I mean, a lot of people wonder why Demba is into the media, right? I was actually a reporter since from Armitage, at Armitage.
Okay.
When I was reporting, I was writing. You know, I was the president of the Current Affairs Society over there, meaning the media, right? You know, so we were reporting stories. We covered the Gulf War. We covered the 1994, 1989 World Cup.
Okay.
So I used to be the reporter there, and I also participated in a lot of debating societies. You know, so I developed interest in writing and in media. Unfortunately, once you leave school, I mean, you're looking for, you know, a place to survive, right? Where you can have a job. So, I mean, I didn't get into it until I came into the U.S. You know, begin to develop some interest again. I was always interested in politics, obviously, right? I used to be, you know, as I said, a young activist in Gambia. So when I came over here, you know, I started writing to Gambia L, joined the Gambia L, Gambia Post. I started writing to Freedom as well, you know, doing commentaries on Gambia, All Gambia as well. And then, actually, interestingly, I wasn't the founder of Gainako. Gainako was founded by Yero and Samba and, you know, other guys over there, right? So I started joining them.
Yero in Minnesota, right?
And yes, Yero Jallo in Minnesota.
And Samba in North Carolina?
Samba Baldeh in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yes, Samba Baldeh, okay, Wisconsin, okay.
There's another guy, Mamadou Jallo, Lama Jallo, from Kunda.
Lama, yes, in North Carolina, yes.
Right, he was the webmaster of Gainako.
I remember back in the days when I used to contribute stories, so I was connected with all of you guys somewhere.
Those were the original founders of Gainako, yes, and I joined them, you know, as a political commentator, right? They used to call me the political commentator. So I used to do commentary politics on politics on there.
So how did it end up being in your hands?
That is very interesting. I think Lama was the webmaster. He was the one that was updating it. I didn't even know how to update it at the time, right? So I developed that interest and I started shadowing him. And at some point, he kind of, slowly transitioned it over to me. And obviously, and we started, doing, running the whole thing. And the more you get in it, the more invested you are into it. So that's how we got into Gainako. And then, obviously, life is very busy here. There's a lot of people who cannot balance, being an activist and then, also a father or a family member, and at the same time, doing this part-time work. Because most of this media that we were doing online was not paid. It was purely voluntary. I mean, nobody paid us for it, even for advertisements and all that. Now you can get ads. Before we couldn't even do it. Everything was purely voluntary. So, I mean, some people would drop off and they'll be active. They would drop off, they'll be active. I just stayed with it. I mean, my wife always teases me and say, whatever you do, you put 110% into it. So that's how I ended up kind of, as she said, hijacking Gainako.
Okay. Interesting enough. What would be in fact, to start with, what does the name Gainako mean? It's a fuller word. What does it mean?
Gainako means shepherd.
A shepherd.
So separate. So I mean, if we look at the Gainako side, we talk about guardianship and independence.
Samakat. Okay.
So Samakat, okay. The prophet was believed to be, the shepherds were prophets, right? Who looks after everybody. So line, obviously, so the word Gainako is obviously somebody who goes after the cattle, who looks after the cattle.
Fair enough.
But that's the very meaning of Gainako.
What would be your reaction to people who will say, or who will call those of you who established Gainako tribalist, knowing obviously it was established by few of you, all of you are fullers. You ended up giving it a fuller name, and especially to feko ne jamono junne kanila, it will be very quick for one to say, okay, these are a group of tribalists. Ngale nyuge create an own website here. What is your reaction to people who would say?
Well, I can tell you that there are even people who actually made those accusations out there, right?
Okay.
But what people say is not what matters. What matters is how you come up with the name, what it means to you, and actually how you implement it or how you act on it. So the most important is we can create Gainako, New York fuller Gainako, and we only do fuller programs on it, right? And Mungawa Nebi is a tribalist, it's a tribalistic. There is nothing wrong with promoting your tribe. What is wrong is using your tribe for against other people, right? But I can tell you that we are very proud fullers, and we want to carry that identity wherever we go. Obviously, we're Gambians as well. Gambians first, but we're fullers as well. So we want to take that culture with us, and that's how the name Gainako came in. And obviously, it resonates with a lot of people, right?
But being fullers, of course, is everybody fuller. Of course, it has grown, and now you have other people. Just for the record, is everybody who works at Gainako or volunteers at Gainako a fuller?
Not really. I mean, you know some of them, right?
I'm asking you. You tell me. You tell me.
It's not for me to answer your question. Last time I checked, Mama Linga was not a fuller. The last time I checked, Ahmed was not a fuller, right? So we had a lot of other people that were not fullers, and they were Gambians that wanted to contribute. And Gainako is actually one of the platforms that played a neutral platform even during the struggle. We used to bring in even folks from the APRC.
Okay.
Right.
So
that we don't shy away from that at all. I mean, people knew us to be a group where you can go to and express regardless of your political or your fuller. And interestingly though, we never had fuller programs on Gainako.
Until this day.
We started that and it never happened because the fuller people are always trying to show off, right? So we never had a fuller program on Gainako. So that's why some people were criticizing us for using we do a lot of English programs on it. And then we have Mama Lingen and others did it, and others came and we combined it all there.
Well, to your credit, when you just started, I remember back in the days, that's when I was full-fledged promoter and was promoting Singate Freaky Joe and several other Gambian artists which gave birth to Gambian talents. And I used to send you stories, music-related stories, and we collaborated a lot with Gainako in publishing those stories back then. Fast forward, Demba. Yes, eventually some of your colleagues could not continue with the project, and You were very passionate. You took it over and had other people involved. You guys specialize in politics a lot, and to a great extent, matter of fact, eventually. Why did you specialize in politics?
I wouldn't say we specialize in politics. What happens is that there was a situation when our country was under assault, especially the media. The media was shut down in the Gambia, and in the end, a lot of people exercised self-censorship. So we saw the media, we saw Gainako as a platform that could be used, powerfully to make sure that the people who cannot be heard are heard. We escalated the voices of the people whose voices were being suppressed. This is why you think, because at the time, as Dr. King would say, at the time of injustice, right, there is no neutrality in it. So we didn't have much choice, just like, freedom and others. We didn't have much choice, but really to focus on what was happening to our people. And interestingly, there's so many other programs that we had on Gainako. We brought in people with different expertise that were not necessarily just talking about politics. But yeah, politics was our focus because our people were under assault, right? They were under assault on the ground. They were under assault away from the ground. So we had to make that a priority. And that was a prayer. And that's how we became media activists, pretty much. And Pausman, one of the victims, the biggest victims of Jammeh's regime was the media.
That's right.
Was the media. It was Gambian journalists. They were one of the biggest victims of the dictatorship. So we did not have a choice at the time. We could not ignore the plight of our people and engage in something else. That was our focus. That's why we focus on that.
Okay. Yeah. But Demba, yes, you were doing good writing for the most part. Basically, at some point, it was Demba alone. Did you have a lot of people shortly before the coming of the Mama Lingers and the Ahmed Gittes and others? Who else was on the platform?
So Yara was always there.
Okay.
He was bringing in a very young family, so he was very busy. But if you go back and look at what happens before Mama and others came in, right? Yero was there. We brought in other people as well. We tried to recruit a lot of people. As I said, it was very difficult because it was purely based on sacrifice. Right? Nobody was paying you. You have to leave your job. You have to leave your family. You have to be on the radio for hours. When people go to bed is when we stay up until 2 a.m. in the morning, to update these stories and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't blame a lot of people. But what we also had was, we had experts who were contributing to Gainako. If you go, you see people on different stories, like on Gainako anniversary days, right? Anniversary week. We had people contributing on different topics. Yes, Demba was there. Yes, Yero was there. But Lama was still in the background. We have some other people who were in the background as well, who never surfaced. We recruited them to come in and join us as commentators. And Pausman, interestingly, right? Gainako was one of the platforms that has a cordial relationship with all of them. When Fatu came in, we had a good relationship. We had a good relationship with Freedom. There was the Gambia Journal by Sarah and others. We had a good relationship with those ones. So we were actually leveraging other people's efforts as well. So it never felt like I was alone in Gainako. And then I was so determined, to focus on the fight that we never felt like we were alone. Yero and I would do a lot of work, and then we would retreat in the background, and people will contribute substantially to what we were doing and what we were publishing.
You are watching and listening to the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talents Radio and Gambian Talents TV. We are live on the Gambian Talents platform on Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, and of course on GambianTalents.com. Ñu ngi leen ay bëggee ci seen déglu ak seetaan bu rafet. Demba Baldeh is our guest. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching the Gainako show. We'll be right back.
Karasu Properties and Investment Limited, ye can also dale lamen karawan 20 by 20. Jiobeje, kurangabeje. Ninsun karo bunya na la horomo kang, iba wafila $200,000 cash. Ikafumi mfane mortgage ka domon ninjo katafu kari woro, ibo wafila $250,000. Karasu Properties and Investment Limited, ibal content sunkaro. Karasu Properties. Link us and we make you a home.
Justice Charles Suleiman Jallow, Chairman of the Gambia Constitutional Review Commission, and I watch Gambian Talents TV.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching or listening to us from. Fu ñu waay di dégloo ci ñeneenti koñi àdduna ñu ngi leen ay béggee bu baax a baax di leen dalal di leen gërëm di leen sant si seen déglu ak seetaan bu rafet. Nyohobai show la jógee fii ci Gambian Talents TV. Demba Baldeh of Gainako mooy suñ guest, mooy suñu gan, seeni gan, of course ñu waxtaan ak moom. Demba, fast forward, yes, like you said, you had people there that were supporting in the background, but a year or two, around 2015, shortly after the Fatu Camara came from Gambia, the Fatu network was established, and she was there doing okay. She had, different people there doing programs. Ahmed Gite was there, Mama Linger was there, different people, Nyom Tukulor Nyuge contribute for Funono, Banka and them. Of course, it was booming. And she took over a lot of things, had a lot of following, definitely. And yes, Chowli Nekur. Yagut, Nudega dispute between Fatu Camara and some of the people who were there, especially Mama Linger and Ahmed Gite, that they resigned. Chowli Nekur. Guy announced that yes, they will be going somewhere soon. People have different speculations. All of a sudden, bam, they both announced they were at Gainako. ñu ne Demba Baldeh moo jaxase gars yi moo bëggoon pour nekk foofu rek. Demba just wanted to be in that situation. He wanted to get the shine and he encouraged them to come to his platform. What's your reaction to people who thought, okay, you are the one behind that whole saga between Mama Linger, Fatu Camara and Ahmed Gite?
So actually the true story is that while we were small, right, as Gainako, we were a small network and people think we were only very few people. A lot of people actually were wanting to join us because of the reputation that we had, right? Because of the seriousness that we had with the work that we were doing, right? And because of the lack of issues, the lack of other divisiveness and other, things that were happening in other areas, right? Gainako was always a straightforward professional. So I can tell you that, interestingly, I didn't know anything about that. Remember that I was the first person to interview Fatu Camara when she came out of Gambia. I was the first person to interview her. One of the first people to interview her, right? I've always had 100% cordial relationship with Fatu Camara, and she has a lot of respect for us at the time. So in Union talk, right? These people were looking at where to go. Obviously, they were power couples, right? They were powerful people that had a very, very strong platforms. They announced that they wanted to come onto Gainako, and they let me know they wanted to come in. We had an open door policy. So we welcomed them to come to Gainako. And you can realize that since they came to Gainako, not a single day was Gainako's platform used to go after Fatu Camara or Fatu Camara to use her platform to go after Gainako. It was never about the network. So it was never about them meddling into it or so. I couldn't care. What other, personal defenses other people had. So, and when they came in, it was all professional. And up till today, Mama Linga perhaps is listening to me and Jide is listening to me. We had a very, very cordial relationship. And not a single time did we talk about what happens outside.
What is your reaction to people who will say Demba could have played a brotherly role, fatherly role by reaching out to Fatu Camara or trying to make peace between them?
It wasn't my responsibility. I didn't know what happened and I didn't bother to find out what happened.
So Demba fogulo won ñaar ñu am problem yow fogulo won, and of course as cordial as the relationship with, as good as the relationship with your fogulo won, it was necessary for you to actually intervene to try to fix the problem rather than of course just taking advantage of it and just welcome them with an open arm. And
not really. My responsibility, Father, Bugay don't build some relationship. I wasn't there. So I wasn't there. I had no role in it. What I think what happened had nothing to do with the media. It wasn't a media issue, right? So we treated everybody equally. It wasn't a media issue. It wasn't a journalist issue. I don't intervene on people's personal stuff, right?
And I never. Problem. If you see two people who have a problem, just because you were never there when they started their relationship, whether it's husband and wife, you are obviously a community leader in Seattle, whether it's a husband and wife, whether it is two friends, whether it is a brother and a sister, or it is co-workers, whatever. If you see two people have a problem, just because you were not there from the get-go, you will not intervene. Or was this a special?
I didn't see it necessary for me to intervene. And I didn't think I would make any difference if I intervened at the time. Because I can tell you that a lot of people intervened, so it couldn't have made any difference. But I didn't see it as my role to intervene.
They were coming to your platform.
Yeah, and so what?
So you were in a hurry. Like you said, these are two people who had a platform. Ahmed Gite's Al-Ngata show was booming. Mama Linger, of course, is a woman of substance, somebody who is loved from her voice to everything that she brought along, the whole 9 yards. I mean, like you said, Gainako was a young platform. You didn't have a lot of contributors. Them coming was definitely going to boost your platform. So that's all you saw? Just them coming and the interest and the flesh they will bring into the Gainako skeleton. That is all you saw at the time?
Well, I mean, here is how I look at it. That's the beauty of diversity, right? So if I knew I'm in a network, right? Why at the time when these people were coming here, you can tell that there were more than 5 networks online. Why did they choose to come to Gainako? Why didn't they choose to go to Freedom?
Well, some people say you are the one that cooks them. I mean, I
wouldn't lose a sleep over that because munga offer to come and intervene ko. I mean, find out whether I have any role in it. Munga wa mama linga there. Everybody is listening, right? And I don't play that kind of game about man. I focus on my work. I focus on my professionalism, and I move on. I don't do a lot of stuff. So I mean, I know that there's a lot of people who wanted them. Right, but we were the lucky one to be chosen, and there is no question. They brought in a lot of clout to Gainako, and we really appreciate that, and we will forever value that. We value with their contributions. Mama Linger and Jide. A lot of people were after us about some of the programs, like some of the things that Jide and talking and all that. It doesn't matter to me. My relationship with them was that matters the most for me.
So, how about Fatou Camara? Did it affect your relationship with Fatou Camara in any way, shape, or form?
Absolutely not. If I go to Fatou Network all the time. Right? I have cordial relationship with Fatou. I have cordial relationship with Banker. I've been on Fatou's source. Even during that time, I was on Fatou's source contributing what I need to contribute. Right? I focus on my work and I focus on the professionalism. Again, that was my mantra. It's like I treat everybody the same way. Okay. Right, so it never affected my eyes up to this day. In fact, Gainako was one of the platforms that was having a joint programs with Fatou Network. During all the fundraisings, we were having joint programs with them, and you never had a single issue happening at the time. Okay. That's just how we operate, Fausman.
Okay. So what happened to Gite and Mama Linger? They were there doing very well. I mean, brought in a lot of substance into Gainako, and all of a sudden, they became history. What happened to these two?
Actually, I don't think they became history. What happens is that if you are following up, right, there was a lot of people that were engaged during the struggle, and the struggle was very, very draining, Pausman. I can tell you that the struggle was very draining to a lot of people. A lot of people, relationships were affected during the struggle. So after the struggle, a lot of people took a break. Myself, I took a break. People had to recalibrate. People have to recalculate, what is the approach? What about the media? What are we going to do? Right? That's what happens. And other people have to focus on themselves. I run a business. There were a lot of people that were focused, spending too much time on the struggle and not really spending time with family and friends. So when the victory happens, people decided to take a step back, and we really respected that. People were not taking this as a career. Like some people were in it just to fight for our lives and our country. Right? After that, they had to take a break and focus on their family. Myself, as I said, as he said, people took a break. We took a break from all this media stuff, all this drainage stuff, and focus on our families and focus on our businesses as well. That's the way I look at it. That's what happened.
Okay. So Mama Linger and Ahmed Gite left. You still hang on. They haven't
left. At any given day, they could pick up. They still have their access. They still have everything. Any given day, they could come on the platform and host the program.
But right now they are not. Right now they are not there. They have moved on to other things. It doesn't look like they are coming back. Gite seem to be very involved with some other things right now. Alolo danga refeta rek demba. You tano just.
Right? I can tell you that if we go on the Gainako Facebook page, Mama Linga still comments there, very, very much involved.
But is she contributing?
She's very much involved on what we're doing.
Is she contributing? I mean, coming to do shows and programs like she used
to. So, Osman, man, you know, when was the last time I did a show? You know that?
We were even writing for Gainako. She used to write a lot of stories. When was the last time a piece was written by Mama Linger?
You can ask her about that. I mean, you know, I mean, you know, I can tell you that Gainako was a broad platform. There were a lot of people that were on it.
I just
and
asked you, when was the last time that
you're gonna go through the same evolution?
When was the last time that she submitted anything?
She just wrote something on the Facebook page a couple of days ago.
Well, for the record, I just invited her a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, buy my jail break. Man mangi jelagum break. Damano, but she doesn't want to come.
I'm like, you know, Mama is one of the people that work really, really hard.
Yes.
You know, and she deserves a break. A lot of us deserve a break from the struggle. You know, especially with what's happening right now, right? You know, we fought. I mean, you know, the people fought really hard, Usman. You know, people fought really hard, and they needed a break. My man, I had to jail a break, right? You know, because it's like I'm not running Gainako as a profit venture. Right? It's not a profit venture. So, I mean, I talk about focusing on my business and focusing on my family and taking care of the family as well. Obviously, Gambia is our priority. We always fight for Gambia, you know, and no matter what happens. But people had a time, you know, like Yero, right? He's taking a break. You take a breather because a lot of people were harmed along the way. You know, so it's good for people to take a break. And this was not a career that we you know, the media was never a career for some of us. We're not best necessarily professional journalists that are making a living out of this. Most of us did this through our passion. You know, so, and it's rightfully power to anybody who can take a break from all the struggle, from all the wounds. Take a break and focus on your family. I respect a lot of people for that.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we fast forward. So Gainako was there. You were very active. Demba Baldeh was not compromising a lot of things. Just like in the piece I wrote not long ago, you were so passionate about fighting the dictatorship that anybody you believe to have any connection with the dictatorship, you went after them, including myself. What got you so passionate about just having?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you a story.
Go ahead.
Personally, my own family has never been directly affected. Okay? But what was happening right now at the time to Gambian people, if anybody was not passionate about what was happening, if anybody was not determined to fight what was happening, then they were in denial of what was happening to the Gambia. Any conscious Gambian citizen who saw people disappearing, who saw people were dying, who saw women, young ladies were being raped, who saw our fathers and our mothers and everybody, our country being butchered. At that time, you were expected to be passionate about fighting dictatorship in the Gambia. That was the passion that I had, right? I mean, anybody, as you said, anybody who I believe that was in denial or was ignoring what was happening in our country on a single base, I had little to do with them or little respect for them. Because I knew, you know, it was a matter of time before some family was affected. It was a matter of time before anybody's family were affected. Whether they spoke, whether they wrote, or whether they said something. It was a matter of time before they get to you.
Well, by
so
Fogulone, at some point, you did it too much. Again, I'm in time, and I would not want to make this a debate or back and forth between Manakyo. But for example, in my case, you were very passionate that you came after me. Not once, not twice, and it even got to a point that even your wife, whenever she saw Pa Usman and Demba, she was on standby to intervene because Fognane the next minute we will get into it and the like. And this was all because you were very passionate about it. You thought Pa Usman and Gambian talents were not doing enough probably, or were even agents of Yaya Jammeh and the like. And there was no evidence to support this. Just like I said to you on numerous occasions, that we have our Lutah Gambia Rudem show with Eva Sar that I'm doing with Eva Sar for over 6 years, and it is something that is actually Ibe Radio Bibete. We've been talking about politics, but then it is never something that we specialize in, and until today we say that we don't specialize in politics. But you were very passionate about it, and you didn't compromise it. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, Osman, I don't want to relitigate this. As we said, you and I had spoke about this, but I can tell you that even my wife told me that I was doing this too much. Okay, because that's how passionate I was about it. That's how much I was affected. You know, you had my story about single Nyasi and others, and I can tell you, I don't blame you, Osman. Man, I think you may have misunderstood me. What I was trying to say. There were a lot of people, Gambians, who exercise self-censorship, including the media on the ground, including our own families. Suma yaay dafa toog ni mu ne ma soo nekkee di def lii doo ma gisaat. You know what I mean? And that was something that a lot of people were facing. That if you wanted to get into politics that much, you would face something like that. People were disowned because they were engaged in politics. Now, what I was angry about, or what I was really not happy with, is people displaying as everything was fine and dandy. People were saying that we were lying about what was happening on the ground. They saw the TRRC. There were a lot of people who thought that we were lying. We were making up stories about what was happening, right? Hey, Gisnan, everything that was happening. But Usman, if you see what is happening today, and you knew it was happening, and you were there, you were talking to those people, wallahi, you would have been as passionate as I was. Any Gambian who was getting first-hand information from the Gambia, and you see people were going those things, people were dying on a daily basis, right? You had no choice but to be passionate about it. I had my business, I had my family, I could have focused my own family, right? But my concern, especially when I returned from the Gambia in 2005, I couldn't handle it anymore. I was like, okay, this is something that when something happens in a country like this, but citizens, decent citizens of the country are the people who are supposed to stand up. Yes, I may have pushed some people to discomfort because what I wanted us to do was to listen to the voice of the voiceless, was to defend the people that were under assault, our own people. Why defend Made? Why defend Al Sabopa? Defend Al family? They were walking into people's homes and arresting people and taking them, and people dare not stand up. That was what I was angry about, and I'm still angry about it. And I think my passion was justified. That if we didn't stand up, if everybody said I don't have any interest in politics, what would have happened to the Gambia?
To take you back a little bit, how, at what stage, when did you get to your peak moment? When did you say this is it? This is a matter of do or die. At what point?
When I returned from the Gambia in
2005. Okay.
In 2005, when I returned to Gambia, when I returned from Gambia after my graduation, because I was focused on college at the time, right? You know, I was not hooked up with social media, was picking up at the time. When I returned from 2005 was when I saw naked people being tortured at the NIA. People were chained at the NIA, open space. People were being arrested. People were terrified. When I came back, I'm like, no, I am not going to follow this. I'm going to start writing. I'm going to start speaking. I'm going to start getting really, really passionate about what was happening. And there was no time when I did not pick. I was always picked.
You were always at your pick.
I was always angry about what was happening in the Gambia because I felt like it was my duty.
What is your reaction to people who will say that Demba Baldeh and Gainako were not even fair and balanced? You did say that earlier you mentioned bringing APRC to your platform. Did you really do so? Because I thought anything APRC, you did not compromise. You didn't give them a platform. You were always writing and talking about things that were against Yaya Jammeh and the things that he and his cohorts or his government was doing. At any point, at what point did you actually engage APRC folks?
So I'm going to tell you, Nyom Jibril Fadia, Nyom Samba Jallo, Bach Samba Jallo, Atlanta. You know, something Drame, what's his name again? You know, something Drame in Atlanta, I think he was as well. Basamba Drame, right? Omar Jallo, Tukulor, Fulani Tukulor. These are people that I had special programs on Gainako, bringing in APRC folks, right? Talking to them about what was happening about their problem. People were very, very angry with me, right? But Pausman, here's one thing that I don't worry about. I have a clear conscience. I do what I believe is right, and I don't worry about how people see that or how people criticize it. Right? That is a clear thing that I always have. I always do what I think is right. And the APRC folks can tell. You can pick up the phone and call Jibril Fadia. Jibril Fadia, right? Pick up the phone and call Jibril Fadia and see if they have not had a program on Gainako. Several programs. And you know, best thing is, I can send you the programs that I still have recorded with APRC. I can send you those things and you can put them on there. And people were listening to, and people were even telling me, why are you having APRC folks on it? Because I felt like these were Gambians.
Okay, fair enough. You fast forward. Because time ang nyo Jambu. You had some of them, yes, on Gainako, and you did what you did. So in your view too, or did you see anything good that Yaya Jammeh did during his time, the 22 years? Can you tell us in your view?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It'll be dishonest on my side to say Yaya Jammeh did nothing good. It'll be dishonest for me to say that. You know, and I always mention there are certain projects I said Yaya Jammeh was one of his worst enemies because Yalla def ko buga. Yalla defal ko, you know what I mean? God gave him all the power where the Gambian people subdued to him, and yet still he squandered it. You know, Yaya Jammeh did not have much resistance in the Gambia, right? He did not have much resistance in the Gambia. People did not pick up guns against him in the beginning. He had every opportunity to do the right thing. There's a lot of things that he did. In fact, Yaya Jammeh more in the decentralization in the Gambia. Ministries Mugenelen from Banjul, we decentralized them. That was good. He built some of the white elephant projects. But at the end of the day, all those things would not matter if you are trampling on the right of citizens. If you don't give the citizens the freedom, that's what I say. No matter what you do, this is what Gaddafi did. Gaddafi was taking their own money and giving it to their people, to his people. And he said, what are you complaining about? He kills a lot of people and he said, what are you complaining about? I'm giving you all the things that you need. It didn't matter what Yaya Jammeh, whether he did good or not. What matters is that the people that suffered and how he strangled, how he wanted to take over our country. And he denied everybody the right to speak or to say something or to own anything in the Gambia. That's what matters. Everything else doesn't matter.
You are listening to the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talents TV and radio. Demba Baldeh of Gainako Radio and newspaper is my guest. Ñu ngi leen ay bëggee Jata Père mu ne thank you Pa Ousmane. Now I can see your special guest. Bro, your voice is a little mu ne Gainako is one of the best online media houses in the USA. I do follow them all the time. Gambian abroad mu ne Jaju Bakari, you can make your point without calling them fools. Be civil and more mature in your criticisms. Thank you very much. Yen ñi ñuy seetaan fu ci waay nekk rek ci ñeneenti koñi àdduna, whether you are listening to us on YouTube, on Snapchat, on Instagram, wala boog nga ñëw seetaan on Facebook, ñu ngi leen ay bëggee. Don't forget to like our page if you are watching us on Facebook, Gambian Talents Promotion. Don't forget to also subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Gambian Talents is a non-profit online broadcasting platform. Seeni noppa la ñuy xoolee, la ñuy dégloo, seeni bot la ñuy xoolee te seeni gémmiñ la ñuy waxee. Your contribution and support to us will go a long way. If you are watching us through Facebook, next to the comment section you will see a green button with a love sign. If you click on it, it would take you to a secure link where you can contribute to us or donate to us. Also, you can actually subscribe to our channel by watching us through our YouTube platform, by sharing our videos and our audios. You are definitely contributing towards what we do. It is very expensive to maintain such a platform. Demba knows what I'm talking about. We are into this together. And yes, Demba, you continue rek ma laaj la ci lolu. You fought tooth and nail to get Yaya Jammeh out of the Gambia. Success was achieved in 2016. I wish we could go back and forward and talk about the GDF and all other things. But then, time ang nyo jambo. You fast forward 2016, coalition was formed. A lot of people were excited, did everything possible, and Adama Barrow won as president. What is your analysis of Adama Barrow's presidency?
Well, I mean, I guess there's a lot of us who invested time and resources into this struggle. But some of us were very much conscious of what may happen after Jammeh, right? There were some of us who were talking about, a post-Jammeh era. There was no plan about post-Jammeh era. Dr. Sen wrote about a post-Jammeh, program, right? How it would look like. And Usman, Yala Monyu Dimbale, we did not get into any civil war, right? So when the coalition, obviously, we did a lot of things right. I look at it in three ways. There were three chapters that I was looking at. The first chapter was the removal of the dictator. The second phase of those three things is really to institute a democratic government, right? To make sure that our people have a freedom and the right to exercise their freedom and their God-given rights. The third phase is a continuous effort to make sure that government is held to account, because government cannot hold themselves account. The citizens would have to engage. And I'm very much encouraged that the Gambians are engaged today, right? If anything that we got from the struggle, from the change, is because we Gambians are very much engaged now, and we're not going to get allowed to be taken for a ride anymore, right?
It has now become sexy, as you always put it. the struggle is now sexy.
Politics is sexy now.
Politics is sexy now.
So
Yes. Okay, so Langa Jele, so how about Barrow's government? You talked about the things that came out of the change after the new for the things that came out of the new dispensation. But then the government, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually disappointed as the path that the government took. But again, as a result of we not planning for post Jammeh era, I'm not surprised as to what happened because we knew the change that we had could fall into the wrong hands. And I'm not saying Barrow is the wrong hands, right? But when change happened, we gave them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of Gambians out here gave him the benefit of the doubt and the government the benefit of the doubt. But decision after decision, decision after decision, we saw that the decisions that were happening were not going to take us to the dream that we had of having a truly democratic Gambia. And I mean, they hate Barrow. I mean, I sat face to face with President Barrow. I went there with GDF folks. You know what he told us, right? He told us that he was learning on the job. He appeared to be a very, very humble man. And I still believe he's a humble man. But guess what, man? Humility, you know what corrupts humility, right? Power. Power is what corrupts humility. And that's what's happening to President Barrow. And he was more interested in entrenching himself and continue on power rather than focusing on the victims. Can you imagine that President Barrow is now fighting with the very people that were the symbol of resistance in the Gambia? Did you expect that to happen within 2 years?
No.
But we questioned his judgment. We questioned the decisions that he made, right? He makes a decision and then he reverses it in the next few months. Every now and then, a leader has to be decisive. You decide and live with the consequences. And I think a lot of Gambians have seen what we're leading to right now. And if we don't stand up, our country is going to derail. Guess what, Pausman? Dictatorship is easier to control the people than democracy. When the people are free, they are much more difficult to control. Because dictatorship, you use an iron fist. You use an iron fist to suppress the right of the people. Now, when the people have their right, they exercise it.
So do you think Barrow is becoming a dictator or is he already one?
No, Barrow would never be a dictator because we Gambians will not allow it. But what Barrow is going to do is going to use the power of incumbency, the same tactic that Jammeh uses. The power of incumbency, using the state resources, using the power to employ people, right, to drive people, and try to perpetuate himself in power. And Gambians should not allow that. We should not allow any other Gambian. I'm going to give you a little more narrative. I know we don't have a lot of time. ECOWAS did a lot of work to establish democracy in West Africa, right? One of the biggest threats, I wrote an editorial about it about a week ago. The biggest threat to democracy in West Africa in ECOWAS is greed for power. Self-perpetuation is the biggest threat for it. And right now, that's what's happening in the Gambia. Barrow is using every minute, every advantage he has in the power of incumbency to try to perpetuate himself. They're talking about 15 years. They're talking about 10 years.
Yeah, but what is your reaction to folks who would say that, okay, the Demba Baldehs, the Coach Samba Jaws, the Banka Manes, the Musa Jangs, and all these other folks who were in GDF or who were actually in the struggle for over 10 years, 15 years, trying to fight Yaya Jammeh, over 20 years, matter of fact, where think that they own Gambia or they own the struggle and thought that you had a spot or a place in the country. Of course, you all went to Gambia, including yourself, maybe once or twice since the new dispensation. Them uti palas like hey, diaspora bi buñ ñu disturb way ñun ñoo am xex suñ xex bi fini and then did not give you guys a job, and that is what get you guys mad, and all of you have defaulted back to the struggle.
Well, I'm gonna run my own business.
Yes.
The government right now cannot pay me what I get for my business, and there's a lot of other there's a lot of just hang on. There's a lot of Gambians you have they have gone to school, they got good jobs, and I can tell you that they do better here than working for the government. And there's also one thing I'm going to tell you, right? There is nothing wrong in Gambians wanting to get jobs in the Gambia and moving it forward. We struggle with change. It took us some of us over a year. That's why some of us did not rush to Gambia because how many soon say Masipa Usman they know then they know them would ligay. And let me tell you something, Pausman. these Gambians that were struggling here, these are patriotic Gambians, and they deserve to work to make sure that the Gambia is taken to the next level, right? It doesn't matter. Baro we are it.
Mane. There, Lolo is been said by a lot of people, but we all know what it is, how it is like over here. Obviously, you earn your salary, you work super hard. It's something law have to earn very well. You have to work extremely hard, whether it is your own business or you're working for an employer or something. Of course, you neka Gambia terangi gifala upe even motosa doko dawalal sa bopa. Then la jox driver yange tukidi dem fu neka si aduna bi. There are a lot of things you enjoy them if you are working in the Gambia and in the government, including the salary, the per diem. Salary may not even be very juicy, but the per diems, the travels, the connections, and yenen mochadu say obviously if you put it together, it can be equal to or a lot more than what you earn here. Wala sudut lolu sax teranga binga am fofu rek definitely is more enjoyable than what you have here. What's your reaction to what I get?
Well, Osman, I'm going to tell you something. If you go into government for per diems, you go in for government for luxury, and you go into government for enjoying stuff, you are a less patriotic Gambian.
That's very good. That's very true.
Because government is not where you make your career. Government is where you go and provide service to the people.
That's right.
Right? Government is not where you go in and then you start enjoying your careers and you start enjoying a lot of money. Government is where, if you're a patriotic citizen, your only reason for serving in government is to provide your services to the state and to the people. That's what you're supposed to do. If you're in there, and this is what the problem we have, because we see government as a means of employment and a means of making a living and a means of your privileges. This is why I think that the Gambian elites, I would say the Gambian elites is the biggest problem in the Gambia, not the farmer, not the fisherman, not the woman who goes to the right field. The Gambian elite, because they see government as a means to get their privilege. Oh, finger I'm gonna respect. Finger again I'm respect, but the rest of the people that you live in on the street do not have the same respect. What's the difference between you and Yaya Jammeh?
Very good point.
Right?
You move on. We have about 3 minutes. You know what I will be doing shortly. But then your take on the 3 years versus 5 years. I mean, Baro says Adiata me mbejam for 2021. Akuyata me for 2021. What's your take?
Ba also for fanako. Akamunda akata ala rejunku. Right? He spoke as if he was God, right? As if he put himself there. He did not put himself there, and the people put him there. And as I mentioned to you before, it's only power that make that to people. They think that they are bold enough. They think that it is send baraka. Wala sen nyan mota ñu egal fofu nonu nit ñi ñoleen egal fofu nonu. What Barrow is saying, my take on the 3 years, a man is as good as your words. So joxe kadu then you want to live by that. If you don't live by that, the people have the right to disrespect you. They have the right not to honor you anymore because you have disrespect. When they were talking about the 3-year transition, they all knew the constitution says 5 years. There was not a single person in that group who did not know about the constitution. Why did they talk about 3 years? 6 months transition. Because African leaders so have power. The more they stay in there, the more they want.
They get comfortable.
Jammeh was there for 22 years. He still wanted more. The African leader, that's our history. You give them 1 month, they go. Guinea-Bissau, I'm saying transition. How long was the transition? Mali, they had their transition. The African leader, you don't give them too much power. You give them power, they're going to abuse it. I think Barrow should resign at the end of the 3 years. If he did not, at the end of the 5 years, he should not contest for another election. If he does, the Gambian people have a right not to respect his words anymore and not to trust him anymore. Because Momoni Johan Kadu, he's betraying that.
Thank you for those statements. You were Doi for a long time, and all of a sudden, Demba Baldeh is now UDP. Dumala muna nyaka like that question. They say you are now UDP. You gave a very powerful speech that people said, okay, was the highlight of the UDP convention in Seattle. Is Demba UDP or no?
Demba is a media personnel. I'm non-partisan. I'm a media person. I cannot take part in partisan things.
But
I was invited as a private citizen.
You attack Doi a lot lately. You attack Doi a lot.
No, I was PDIS. I grew up around Halifa and Sidia. I disagree with the way they are going. Right? They cannot do the kind of politics that Doi is doing. They cannot do the level of sacrifice. Then Buga Moto UAE. Then buga care you ray. Then buga enjoy. Then they want to take their wives and everything else to dinner. That's what the youths want. Doi is not willing to be flexible to adopt those people, right?
But they are trying. The Halifa Nyawut fi joge America Nyawut, they organize a big rally toga in the Sabari yoyu. They are graduating from that. Nyugenyo danka. Come on now, change is not that easy. Nyugenyo danka.
But I mean, at least for 25 years, over 30 years, you would expect some change, right?
But they are changing though. You never see those things. But Nyugenyo danka.
I hope they are listening to us. They're listening to some of us. We are genuine critics. We don't have anything against them. But as I said, Halifa is my mentor. I look forward to him, and I said it right to him before in Seattle. Right, I said this right before him in Seattle that he's one of those people who are our teachers who stood up against Jammeh. And I will always have that respect for Halifa and Sidi and for Uncle Shamsar and others. But hey, I disagree with the way they are going about things.
You disagree
right?
with them, okay?
That's what it is. I disagree with it. I went to a UDP platform and I gave a speech. And Pa Usman, you can agree with me or you can disagree. We can agree to disagree. One of the symbols of resistance, the political symbols of resistance in the Gambia was who? Which party?
UDP.
UDP. Who were the biggest victims of the struggle in the Gambia? UDP. So that's what I did. I gave Dabo the credit that he deserved. I gave OJ the same credit. I gave for the same credit. Right? Them are the UDP or Gambians. You owe this man an allegiance. You may disagree with him. But you owe him some respect for sacrificing. He was one of the most successful people in the Gambia. But he represented us. He represented our families. He cried so much behind us. Give him that too. You can disagree with him. You don't have to vote for him. You don't have to support him. Demba is a partisan. I'm an independent, non-partisan person. I was PDOIS one time, not anymore. I am an independent. I'm a media person.
Good. Now there are so many political parties coming up. We have the GDC, we have GMC, we have PDOIS, you have PPP, and all of these other parties. Musa Bachili came recently, and of course, according to IEC, they have over 20 applications, pending applications on their desk. What do you think the future holds? And by the way, before I forget, I will be hosting Musa Bachili tomorrow at 4 p.m. Gambian time. He's accused by a woman of owing them money and that he's on the run in the Gambia. Out of the Gambia, he's nowhere to be seen. So the leader of GAP, I'll be having him at 4 p.m. tomorrow Gambian time. You can log onto the Gambian Talents. Yes, the Gambian Talents platform. I'll be interviewing Musa Bachili. But what's your take on all these political parties? I mean, you think there is hope?
That's the beauty of democracy. That's the beauty of democracy. The reason why we ended up with people that cannot take our country is because a lot of people were not participating.
Yeah, but little Gambia with almost 30 or more political parties, who stands to lose and who stands to gain?
Democracy is messy, but it works.
Okay. So who's
democracy is messy, it works. The Gambia stand to gain by us having our citizens participating. But Obama joge fee. They declare he wanted to contest. If we have Gambians who want to come forward and declare themselves and they want to represent the country, power to them. I like the multi-party system. I like people stepping out and offering themselves their services. We're going to hold them all accountable. For me, it doesn't matter who. We're going to hold each one of them accountable, whether you are there, whether you are
there. I wish I had more time, but do you think that, anyway, I don't want to preempt this. I just want to challenge and encourage our viewers to listen to the show we'll be having with Musa Bachili tomorrow. But then if you have people registering political parties who are not probably vetted a lot of background is not probably carried out. We are hearing different things happening with people who register political parties or who are about to register political parties when there is no much proper vetting done on these people. In the Adama Barrow, UDP said it.
Democracy sorts that out.
UDP said it. They did not vet Adama Barrow very well.
Yeah.
They didn't vet him very well. So if other parties are coming or other people are coming, kisi wuñ leen, gestu wuñ leen, setuñ seen background or whatsoever or the type of people they are, and we have any and every Tom, Dick and Harry coming to register a political party, Demba, you still believe and stand.
Let me ask you just one question. Let me ask you one question. Who do you think in a democratic society, who do you think is supposed to do the vetting?
Hey, you tell me. It's for you to answer, not for me to answer. You are the one I am.
Who are supposed to do the vetting. And if your vetting is wrong, you go back and change it.
No, but
right?
the people that introduce you to these people, the political parties, for example, I mean, are the ones that actually should do the homework first before they introduce the candidate. Anyway, Demba time be jambu na Nyohobai la renga taga to aksun boki deglu kadi. I wish we had more time because the discussion is very interesting. Why we will have part 2 of this.
Yeah, gis nga legi promotion bi ak business bi bobu sexy wu de legi politics bi more sexy, right?
Dinañ am part 2 of this. Ma bay la
We
rek
will have more time to talk about business and all that. Obviously, you know business. You know, I'm a businessman, right?
Yes.
You know, we do business. We didn't have time to talk about, which is fine. You know, but you know, we can talk about.
You know, I have to go pick up my kids. It's 8 o'clock. To see la guy watch. It's 8:05. So I'm already late. Yes, Jafale Marek.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for having me. You know, as I said again, I appreciate, you know, people for following us, and I appreciate, you know, there's a lot of people that we owe a debt to, you know, as at Gainako, obviously. You know, so Paus Mayauta, accepting me, they're doing well. You know, I mean, this is what it takes. If citizens are engaged, nobody can take advantage of us, and this is what we're calling for. We want our citizens to get engaged. We were supposed to be engaged yesterday, we're supposed to be engaged today, and we're supposed to be engaged tomorrow. Why? Better late than never. Thank you so much. I appreciate, you know, having you, you know, having me on here. You know, I mean, I hopefully I was able to you know, to answer questions, you know, from you anytime. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you very much, Demba. You definitely did justice to it. Like I said, I wish I had the opportunity to actually talk to you more about all the things that are happening in the Gambia plus your business. You are in the real estate business here, and land issues. Real estate is so messy in the Gambia right now. That's definitely one of the things I would love to address with you. There are so many chaotic things happening in our country that definitely your opinion will matter a lot, because you will bring out a lot of substance. Why Ninko Herek time be allowed Nuko. Ñu ngi bëggee képp ku ñuy déglu di ñu seetaan comme niñ leen ko waxee rek Nyohobai show la ci Gambian Talents TV. I will be hosting Musa Yali Bachili tomorrow. We have Lutax Gambia Do Dem show on Sunday. We will still have Menyanta tomorrow and several other programs. Subscribe to our channel if this is your first time following us on YouTube, and like our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It was the Nyohobai show coming from the Gambian Talents TV. Till we come your way next time, jërë ngeen jëf. Nyohobai show la woon. Thank you very much, and thank you Demba Baldeh.
Thank you very much, Osman. God bless. Thank you.
Justice Charno Suleiman Jallow, Chairman of the Gambia Constitutional Review Commission, and I watch Gambian Talents TV.
A wall of brands. Yéen ñi nga xam ne nag yéen a nama lu baax ci seeni néeg, yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen a bëgg lu baax, yow mi nga xam ne yaa bëgg defar sa néeg, yow mi nga xam ne yaa bëgg furnitures yu baax, carpet yu baax, li nga xam ne nag moom ngay